Alright, so this is a $500 gaming PC that focuses on one thing only, which is getting you the absolute highest performance for the lowest possible price. This build isn't flashy, it isn't meant to be premium, but the performance you get out of it is honestly pretty good for the budget. The parts list is simple, everything is easy to put together, and the upgrade path is still solid thanks to the AM4 platform. So let's start with the CPU. This build uses the Ryzen 5 3600, a 6-core 12-thread processor that still delivers really strong gaming performance today. I picked this one up for around $70, and if the prices swing or you can't find stock, the Ryzen 5 5500 is a great alternative about the same price. Both chips are efficient, run cool, and have more than enough power to keep up with the GPU we're pairing it with. For the motherboard, I'm using the Asus B450M. However, the one I have linked in the description is the ASRock B450M HDV, since it's usually cheaper and offers the exact same feature set. Both boards support these CPUs without issues, they give you the basics you need for a budget build, and both are stable options for the system. So we'll place the board on top of the box so we can install everything safely before mounting it into the case. Installing the CPU is simple. Lift the socket lever, line up the gold triangle on the processor with the one on the socket, drop it in, and lock the lever down. Depending on where you buy your CPU, it may or may not come with a cooler, so just be aware of that. If yours does not include one, you'll need to pick up a Raid Stealth or any other AM4 compatible cooler separately. In my case, I'm using the Raid Stealth. It already comes with thermal paste pre-applied, so you don't need to do anything extra. Line it up, tighten each screw evenly, and plug the fan into the CPU fan header. Next is the RAM. RAM prices right now are extremely overpriced because of market demand, so the only real option for a budget build like this is to buy used. Aim for $60 to $70 and look for a kit with the same specs as the one I'm using here. So this specific one is the Team Force Vulcan Z 16GB kit running at 3200 MHz, and you'll want to find something similar to this. 16GB is still the baseline for gaming, and used RAM is the best way to stay on budget. So open the second and fourth slots, line up the notches, and press down until both latches click. After that, we'll install the SSD. I'm going with the WD Blue 500GB NVMe drive for $55. It's reliable, it's fast enough for everything you need, and it keeps your system snappy without overspending on storage. Slide it into the M.2 slot, push it down, and secure it with the small screw. This board doesn't include an M.2 heatsink, but that's totally fine for this drive. Now we can prep the case. I'm using the Okino Cypress 3 wood case, which goes for about $62. It's compact, well designed, and the airflow is surprisingly good for the price. It also comes with 3 fans as well, which is nice to see. Since the Asus board uses a separate I/O shield, install that first. After that, line up the motherboard with the standoffs inside the case, make sure everything sits evenly, and secure it with screws. Next is the power supply. I'm using the MSI Mag A550BN, a $49 unit that's clean, quiet, and reliable enough for this system. For budget builds, you want something that isn't sketchy and still gives you stable power delivery, and this one checks all the boxes. Slide it into the PSU chamber with the fan facing down so it pulls air from the bottom and exhausts properly. Once it's aligned with the screw holes at the back of the case, secure it into place. Now we can move on to the GPU. This build uses the RX 5700 XT, which I picked up for around $120 on eBay. At this price, there's absolutely nothing that competes with it in raw performance. Line up the GPU with the top PCIe X16 slot, press it in firmly until you hear it click into place, and then secure it with screws to keep it stable. After that, connect the PCIe power cable you routed earlier and make sure the cable has a clean, untensioned path so the card sits level inside the case. Once the GPU is installed, the build is basically finished. So you can tidy up the cables behind the motherboard tray, close up the panels, and you're good to go. Before moving on, make sure to enable XMP in the BIOS so your RAM actually runs at 3200 MHz. So now for the fun part, let's take a look at the benchmarks, and all of these were tested at 1080p using the settings shown on screen.
Sacred duty we have to preserve the American experiment, to choose a new path for our children and grandchildren. But as we meet tonight, we cannot forget that this evening could have been so much different. Instead of a day of celebration, this could have been a day of heartache and mourning. For the last 8 years, President Trump has given everything he has to fight for the people of our country. He didn't need
Supernova! Goddess! Denizens of the deep. Catch.
A little longer. Grab some samples?
Always. But not you. Check on Isabel. Make sure she eases up on the breach. I don't feel like getting buried alive today.
Roger that.
Remember, Dusty, keep your breathing steady. And never take that helmet off down here. Oxygen projects don't extend too far.
Yeah. Running through these fades pretty quick.
For around $500, this system is extremely impressive. The RX 5700 XT still delivers great frame rates, the Ryzen 5 3600 keeps everything smooth, and the entire build is just really solid. If you do want alternatives, there are a couple of options that still fit the budget. For the GPU, an RTX 2060 Super is a solid backup choice if you can find one at a good price, and it performs close to the 5700 XT in most titles. For RAM, the used market can be hit or miss, so if you aren't finding a decent kit for around $60 to $70, it might be worth waiting a bit since prices tend to fluctuate. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one.